$5.3 trillion. That is what your country spent on health last year. 18 cents of every dollar the economy made. You are standing at 3 in the morning in front of a wall of scans, deciding whether a stranger lives. You will save more lives than you can count, and you will never once be the person who decides what a life is worth. This is every level of a surgeon, from the student who takes the oath to the people above medicine who price the cut. Year 1. You raise your right hand to the white coat ceremony and recite the oath. First, do no harm. You mean every word of it. You are 22 and you believe medicine is a calling, not a business. Hold on to this moment. You will spend the next 30 years slowly trading it away. You do not earn a salary. You pay to be here. 4 years of tuition leaves the average student owing roughly $235,000 before they have set a single bone. You memorize the whole human body twice over. You are buried in debt and anatomy, and you have not yet touched a living patient. Third year, they finally let you onto the wards. You follow the team at the back, the lowest person in the building, carrying the folders no one else wants to hold. A resident asks you a question you cannot answer in front of everyone. You learn the first real lesson of medicine. The ladder is long, and you are standing on the very bottom rung. You watch a patient receive bad news for the first time. Really watch it from 3 feet away. You feel it in your whole body. You go home and you cannot sleep. An older student tells you, kindly, that you will stop feeling it that way. You do not believe her. She is right. You match. PGY1, your first year as a doctor, and the bottom of the surgical pyramid. $68,000 a year, divided across 80-hour weeks, comes out below minimum wage by the hour. You do the scut, the notes, the labs, the pages that never stop. You're a doctor now. You just do not feel like one yet. 2 in the morning. A trauma comes through the doors, and the room moves without you. Your first code. Your first time pronouncing a death and writing the time on a chart with a steady hand. You walk to the supply closet, breathe for 90 seconds, then walk back out. Something in you closes a door so the rest of you can keep working. They let you into the operating room. You do not operate. You hold a retractor for 4 hours, and you do not move, and you do not complain. Your hands cramp. The attending never learns your name. But you're inside the room now, close enough to see how it is really done. You would do this for free. They are nearly making you. You stop counting the hours because the number stopped meaning anything. You miss the wedding. You miss the funeral. You start measuring your life in calls survived and patients kept alive. The earnest 22-year-old from the ceremony is still in there somewhere. He is just very, very tired. Your hands take over the case. Your first solo appendectomy. 20 minutes, clean, the attending watching from the corner. $77,000 by your final chief year. And you would not trade the feeling for 10 times the money. This is the thing you came for. The moment a body opens under your hands and you know exactly what to do. You get faster. To get faster, you have to get a little colder. The frightened person in bed 4 becomes, in your head, the gallbladder in bed 4, a problem to be solved before the next page. You're not cruel. You are efficient. And efficiency is how everyone in that bed survives. But you notice the change. You let it happen anyway. Chief resident. Now the interns hold the retractor for you, and you remember exactly what their nights feel like. You run the service. You teach. You take the blame when a junior misses something at 4 in the morning. You are the engine of the operating room. But you are still not the reason it exists, and you still cannot afford the apartment near the hospital. You sit with a family and tell them their father will not wake up. Your voice is calm. Your words are clear. You have learned the precise professional distance that lets you do this and then go operate on the next patient an hour later. It is a skill. It is also a wall. You build it on purpose, brick by brick, because the version of you without it could not survive this job. You want the hardest thing, so you subspecialize. 1 to 3 more years of training to operate where others will not. You are past 30, still earning $90,000, still technically a trainee. But your hands now do what almost no one else's can. You are no longer learning surgery. You are learning the thing inside surgery that has no name. You read a scan in 4 seconds that a generalist studies for 10 minutes. You see the lesion behind the lesion, the bleed that has not happened yet. This is expertise, and expertise is lonely. The further up you climb, the fewer people in the building can tell you when you are wrong. Your friends from college bought houses years ago. They have weekends. They have children who recognize them. You have a fellowship badge and a deferred life you keep promising yourself is about to start. 14 years in, you have given more to this than to any person you have ever loved. You tell yourself the payoff is coming. For the first time, it actually is. You stand at the window of a call room and do the math you have avoided for a decade. One signature away, board certification, and your salary multiplies by 5 overnight. Not because your hands changed. They were this good a year ago, because on the other side of that line, the system finally agrees to pay for what you can do. Attending. The case is yours now, and so is the outcome, the lawsuit, the name on the consent form. A board-certified general surgeon earns around $475,000. After 13 years, the money finally arrives. And almost immediately, you discover that the money comes with a number attached to your hands. They explain the RVU, the relative value unit, Medicare's currency of productivity. Every cut, every consult, every closure is worth a precise number of them. And your compensation is now a function of how many you generate. You went to medical school to heal people. You're now also, quietly, a revenue line. The quarterly meeting. A man who has never held a scalpel shows you a chart of your throughput against your targets in front of your colleagues. He calls patients cases. He calls a full schedule a good day. He is not wrong, exactly. He is just speaking a language in which a person is a unit, and you realize you have started to speak it too. A patient on the borderline. The conservative path is watchful waiting. The procedure is defensible, billable, and books your afternoon. You choose to operate. The operation goes perfectly. You will never know if it was necessary. And you notice that the system only rewards you for one of those two answers. You file the thought away. It does not go far. You reach the top of the pay table. Neurosurgery, the highest paid specialty in medicine. Median total compensation, $960,000. Some private practices clear well past $1 million. You operate inside the skull, on the part of a person that is the person. And the more you are worth per hour, the more the building wants those hours filled. 2 scans, 2 patients, same morning. One clearly needs you. One could go either way for years. Both will fill an operating slot worth tens of thousands of dollars to the hospital. You make the right call. You usually do. But you have felt the pull now, the gentle gravity of a system built to reward the knife over the weight. You no longer pretend it is not there. You fly out on weekends as a locum, covering hospitals that cannot keep a surgeon for day rates that would have been a month's pay in residency. The lake house, the college funds fully funded. You have arrived at the life the 22-year-old was promised. He would be impressed. You are not sure he would recognize you. A colleague is quietly investigated for operating too much, too many borderline cases, too many slots filled. Nothing is proven. He keeps his license. The lesson the rest of you absorb is not about ethics. It is about documentation. At this altitude, the question changed somewhere along the way from, is this right, to, is this defensible? You stop operating. They give you a title, an office, and roughly $1.5 million a year to run the department. You trade the scalpel for a calendar. The work is no longer the patient in front of you. It is throughput, staffing, and the margin on every service line in the building. You are paid more than you ever were to never cut again. The numbers land on your desk. The rural trauma unit loses money every single quarter. Obstetrics in the county next door, the same. On the spreadsheet, it is a negative margin. In the towns it serves, it is the only doctor for 60 miles. You sign the order to close it. You tell yourself someone above you would have closed it anyway. They would have. You walk the atrium of the hospital with your name on a wing of it, and you can read the building like a balance sheet. Cardiac pays for itself. Ortho prints money. The emergency department is a loss leader the law requires you to keep open. You used to see patients. Now you see a portfolio of conditions, ranked by what the system has decided each one is worth. You take the stage of the national meeting to accept an award named after a surgeon who has been dead for 50 years. They call you a leader in the field. The applause is real. You have not put your hands inside a human body in 3 years, and you have more power over who lives in your region than any scalpel ever gave you. There is a level above medicine, and almost no one in scrubs ever sees it. You sit on the boards that set what care costs, the committees that assign a value to every procedure, the systems that decide which hospitals open and which towns lose theirs. $5.3 trillion moves through the machine you help steer. You have not held a scalpel in a decade. You move between worlds the way water moves downhill. The hospital system, the device maker, the insurer, the agency that writes the reimbursement rules, and back again. Each seat teaches the next one where the money is. Nobody elected you. Nobody can name you. And yet the price of a heart valve in 10,000 operating rooms passes somewhere across a table you're sitting at. A surgeon decides whether one patient lives. You decide what a patient is worth, which is to say, you decide for millions of patients you will never meet in rooms you will never enter. You do not wear a white coat. You do not need one. The most powerful person in medicine is the one who never has to touch the body at all. The oath, the feeling of a body healing under your hands. The patients whose names you knew, these were not things you lost. They were things you exchanged, knowingly, one at a time, for altitude. You did more good than almost anyone alive. You also stopped, somewhere along the climb, being the kind of person who would feel it. Somewhere far below, a 22-year-old raises her right hand at a white coat ceremony and recites the oath. First, do no harm. She means every word of it. She thinks this is a calling, not a business. She is right, and she is wrong, in exactly the way you were. The machine does not heal anyone. It simply finds new people who will, and slowly teaches them the price.